Hi everybody, Dana Sparks, broker of Maximum One Greater Atlanta Realtors, and just wanted to do a video today on closings and COVID-19 and some information to help you out as a real estate agent, at least here in Georgia. Not sure what other states are doing, but just wanted to bring some information to your attention. So the first thing you need to be cognizant of is you need to check with the closing attorney. There are some closing attorneys that, due to the state GAR regulations, CDC regulations, government regulations, and their own policies, are limiting the people who may attend closing. So many closing attorneys are only allowing the signers to come to closings, meaning the actual seller and the actual buyer who are actually required to sign the documents. That means that you as a real estate agent may not be allowed to attend your closing. So a couple things is, number one, I'm going to get into the real estate agent aspect of it in a moment, but you need to check with the closing attorney what their current policies are, and the policies are changing daily depending on the regulations that we are receiving. So check with that. Also check if many of your closing attorneys are performing powers of attorney for your clients to someone else. Now, if you are an agent, if you are a Maximum One agent, you are prohibited from accepting power of attorney for your client. They must give it to another person, not you as the agent. And also you'll want to check with your closing attorneys on any of their mail-out procedures for closings. So just check with that. Another issue to be cognizant of is there are a lot of local governments that are temporarily closed. And what that means is that the deeds, after everything is signed at the closing table, the deeds are not necessarily being recorded because the local county clerk of court's office might be closed. So check with the closing attorney about that. There are probably some affidavits that the parties will have to sign at the closing table, but just wanted to bring your awareness to those issues going on. Now, regarding how you as an agent get paid, a lot of agents have gotten used to being paid at the closing table, which is a wonderful thing. If you have been practicing for over, how long, 10 years or more, you realize that this is a new concept. And so we always used to get paid traditionally from your broker. So during this time right now, that is a way that a lot of brokers are paying agents. And if the closing attorney is not allowing you as an agent to attend closing, then here at Maximum One, and again, you need to check with your broker if you're not a Maximum One agent, you would not need to request what we call a DA, or disbursement authorization, which is the permission to get paid at the closing table. Since you are not going to be attending closing, there's no need for you to get paid at the closing table. So you're going to get paid the traditional way. And basically what that means is the closing attorney will close the transaction, and then the closing attorney will mail the closing statement along with the gross commission check for your broker to your office. And please check with your broker what that mailing address is. If you're a Maximum One agent, you need to check with your specific franchise where to mail that address in. If you're a Maximum One Greater Atlanta agent, I have sent that information out. That is on the Rockstars Facebook group. But in general, the closing attorney will mail the closing statement and the gross commission check to your broker. Now, if your broker is holding the earnest money, that gross commission check is going to be, that check from the closing attorney is going to be the gross commission minus the amount of earnest money your broker is already holding. Then what happens is the broker transfers the earnest money from the trust account to the commission account, pays you your commission, and again, you need to check with the brokerage. Here at Maximum One, we pay you via direct deposit, so your commission will just show up in your bank account. What's better than that? Now, you must have a complete and a compliant file, and you need to check with your transaction management system. For us, it's paperless pipeline, so you need to check your transaction in there and make sure that all of the checklist on the left is checked off so that you can receive your commission check. Again, the most important thing, if you're not going to be attending closing, there's also no need for the broker who's holding the earnest money to send that earnest money to the closing attorney, because they're going to take it out from it'll be applied towards your commission. Now, if there is ever a situation where your commission is less than what the earnest money is, then that's another issue, and you need to check with your compliance broker regarding that situation. Now, another thing I wanted to bring to your attention are potential delays in closings due to COVID-19 and the coronavirus, the existence of the virus by someone who's infected, and apprehensions about going to a closing for social distancing and exposure and things like that. So along those lines, GAR, the Georgia Association of Realtors, has come out with a special stipulation. They came out with that on March 17th. That has to do with COVID-19 and your closings. So I'm going to link that below. They also came out with an explanation of the special stipulation. So in general, that the GAR COVID-19 special stipulation is divided into 3 parts. The first part has to do with when there is what they're calling a COVID-19 related event. So if that results in any of the parties, the attorney, the lender, buyer, and seller, not being able to perform. So that is addressed as one part in the special stipulation. The second component that is addressed in the special stipulation has to do with not if there is a coronavirus related event, but if the parties are apprehensive about attending a closing based on the current environment around the coronavirus. And then the last component has to do with the negotiated period or time frame in which the closing could be delayed based on a corona or COVID-19 related event, which GAR is using an acronym CRE for that. So again, I will link not only the special stipulation, but the explanation of the special stipulation below. Like any special stipulation, please run that by your broker prior to using in your contracts, as well as checking with your clients. If you are already under contract, obviously that would be used as an amendment. If you are in the middle of writing a contract, that would be a special stipulation. The third issue that was the third. The fourth issue I wanted to bring up to you is earnest money remittance. So when you are negotiating contracts and the buyer and the seller are you've already negotiated a contract and the buyer needs to remit the earnest money to the holder, you need to check with the holder and the various processes that they have for receiving earnest money. For example, at Maximum One, we have various ways where a buyer may remit earnest money without having to come into the office. Our offices are open. Today is March 19th, and our offices at Maximum One Greater Atlanta are open. So they can come by and drop off that. We do sanitize the office, the door handles, everything on an ongoing basis. We also have several ways where the earnest money may be deposited remotely. The instructions for remote earnest money deposit are in the reference section of Paperless Pipeline. We also at Maximum One Greater Atlanta have what's called Bank Shot, where you can make deposits either of earnest money or commission checks via your smartphone. Again, the instructions are in the reference section of Paperless Pipeline. Or a party can always wire earnest money to the holder. Now, ongoing with wiring is the potential for cyber fraud. And now that the real estate industry, everybody is handling things more electronically, we have to be even extra vigilant of cyber fraud in our industry. So if you are an agent and your client is going to wire earnest money to a broker, then we need that client's mailing address. We are prohibited, and we prohibit our agents from emailing wire instructions to a client. So we will need their U.S. mailing address. where we can send the wire instructions via US mail, or you, the agent, can come into the office and pick them up and hand them to your client. But again, do not email those. If the earnest money is going to be wired from a client to the holder, as you guys are negotiating contracts, y'all need to be cognizant of an additional time frame involved with that. And when you're negotiating for the number of days after binding agreement date for the buyer to remit the earnest money to the holder, if you know it's going to be a wire, you might want to extend that time frame out a little bit. Also, just one thing in general regarding wire instructions is there are wiring fees that are associated with wiring, usually from a broker to wire earnest money out to a closing attorney, for example. So if we did have to wire earnest money that we were holding to a closing attorney for a closing, please be aware that there is a wiring fee that will be added to your agent bill. So just take a look at that and let us know if you have questions on that. Now, bottom line, you guys, the public still needs to buy and sell. There are still many people out there buying and selling. The interest rates are phenomenally low right now. Sellers, you guys, we need y'all. There are more buyers on the market right now than we have inventory. So sellers, let's get those houses up for sold. Agents, go connect buyers and sellers. There's all kinds of creative ways that we're finding to sell real estate right now. Lots of use of video, virtual tours, virtual open houses, all kinds of walkthroughs. There's all kinds of online visual conferencing. There's different programs you can get out there. There's FaceTime. There's visual conferencing through Google Hangouts. There's visual conferencing through Facebook, through Messenger. You guys, there's all kinds of ways to still do business and allay your fears of and comply with the social distancing. There's still all kinds of ways that we are buying and selling, helping buyers and sellers get together and convey property. Again, through social media, through video, all kinds of programs out there. We are still here. Real estate agents are still here to help the public buy and sell. And the public, we know y'all still need to move, and we are here to help you. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this tip helped you out, and stay healthy and go out there and continue to be a blessing to your buying and selling public like you have always been. Thank you guys so much for watching. Dana Sparks, broker of Maximum One Greater Atlanta Realtors, satisfying your needs with service, innovation, and education.